In today's video, we go from this to this. Welcome back to Sim Project, everybody. Just sitting here at Toronto Billy Bishop City Centre Airport, just getting ready to shut things down because today's upgrade day. We're going to tear the sim completely apart because I've got some upgrades to make. It's Christmas time. Well, Christmas was earlier in the week, but of course all the after Christmas sales on. In here in Canada we call that Boxing Day. It's 26. It's a European thing. Most of the Commonwealth celebrates Boxing Day, but yeah, that's when nobody wants to put their Christmas stuff back in stock, so they put everything on sale. So yeah, here's what I picked up. I picked up two more 58-inch 4K TVs, same as that one. So we're gonna go triple screen on each side to give us 270-degree field of view. Now, yeah, I know RCA is not the cream of the crop when it comes to TVs the way they used to be. 25, 30 years ago, RCA was a phenomenal unit. Now they are on the lower end, but this is a budget setup. I mean, it's not super budget, but this is budget. I know there's all kinds of videos on YouTube with guys running triple 4K screens and they're pulling 130 frames because, well, they list their specs in their videos, and the one guy I was watching, he's got about $14,000 invested in his system to do it. I mean, he's got a 4090 card, which right now they're about $1,700 up here in Canada. He's got a computer that he spent, like, he's got 64 gig of RAM and a 16 gig chip that he's put in. Those 16 gig chips are $800 a piece, and he's got 4 of them in there, right? Like, it's crazy. The monitors he's using, they're $2,200 Canadian each, and he's got, 3 of them. Like, so I said, he's got north of 15K, probably like $16,000 invested in a system. And yeah, he's pushing 140 or 130 plus frames a second on a monitor that's only good for 100, only good for like 120, hertz refresh. So yeah, so you're wasting frames. But regardless, I don't have 20 grand to spend on this setup. I've got I got an Intel i7 12th generation down there with 64 gig of RAM and a 4060 card that I spent about $1,200 on last year. These screens, I buy them when they're on sale. That one, $429 or whatever, back in the fall. The two new ones, they were on sale with reward points and everything I got. Those were under $400 a piece. So, I've still got a couple $1,000s invested in this, but I'm looking at like under 3 grand, which, yeah, okay, so I'm not going to be able to run, 130 frames a second, which is fine, because even on this one, I've only got it set for 30 frames, because truthfully, as far as I know, in the 35 plus years I flight simmed, 30 was the golden rule. Yeah, maybe, go a little more. It looks a little better, but, hey, budget setup. I'm out to do something the real world person can afford, not something where you've got to sell your firstborn and put a third mortgage on your house to buy. And I know a lot of people are going to say this, why not just go VR? Well, I've got one of those. I've got a MetaQuest 3. Watch the video above me here. I actually won it a month or so ago when we were on a cruise ship. VR is great. Flying helicopters, fighter jets, things like that, it's phenomenal. Flying regular GA aircraft like this, where 90% of your view never changes. Why worry about VR? You don't need to see your feet. You don't need to see the ceiling. It's stuff that VR just isn't needed, and truthfully, the colors are nowhere near as nice as VR. VR is like that MetaQuest is less than a 2K resolution. I'm running this at 4K, so yeah. Anyways, we're gonna tear stuff apart. I'm gonna get in to show you what I've got built for a stand to put all this on, and then we're gonna get into configuring it. And I'm not gonna go too deep into that. I'm just gonna share a video on how to do that, because it can be hours of trying to explain the math and the formulas you need to do to set your field of view correctly. So stick around, and I'm going to show you what we're building to put all this stuff on now. Okay, so let's take a look at 737DIYsim.com. Now, Carl has done some amazing stuff here for 3D printed, and if you're looking to build a big airliner, this is the guy's site to check out. My helicopter controls I'm working on, they came from him, but I want to show you what he does have. So we're going to go to downloads and blueprints. we're going to go to the cockpit. And on his 737 dual seat cockpit, you can see he's got 737 TV surround stand. Now the CAD file, unfortunately, it's broken. It's not there anymore. But he does have a really nice PDF that lays out a really nice stand for holding 3. Now these are 65-inch TVs. We're only dealing with 58s. And he's got about 95% of the dimensions here. Now, of course, everything's in metric. And I did take a guess. I'm assuming everything is built out of an equivalent 2x4 size, and that's what I've used. So then it's just a matter of taking your 2x4s and, either making it all in metric, which was pretty easy for me being Canadian. I understand metric and was able to do stuff. And then just cut it and put it together based on, like I said, you go through it, you can find just about every dimension you need. The only thing that did give me a hard time were these 2 mounts on the back, these 2 uprights. Just trying to come up with the dimensions of that. I simply made them this 1460, the same height as that. And the spacing position, where I would suggest leave those until you get your monitor mounts. Because I'm going to have to move mine now. But it's really nice. As you can see, he's got a spot here for put your computers on the back of the center one and everything. So like I say, the only thing I did have to do, because like I say, he's got all of his dimensions for a 65-inch TV that he built this off of. And so there's the dimension right there, that 1467. That's the width of the 65-inch TV. Now, that's the only dimension I worried about changing. My TVs are 1300 millimeters. So it's 167 millimeters narrower. So all I simply did was this 1450 dimension here and this 1600 dimension on the front. I minused 167 millimeters off of it to compensate for the TV size. And that should allow things to line up better when you start connecting the 2 outer wings. Now, as you can see here too, he's got this at a 45-degree angle, what he's got it set for. I'm going to do mine at 60 because that'll give me a 60-degree field of view off each screen. And that, well, it'll also reduce the space because as you can see, that's 4,214 millimeters. So that's 4.2 meters width to width. Now, that's about 13-ish feet, I would say. That's a lot of space. I don't have 13 feet to deal with, so if we swing these into 60 degrees, I'm hoping I can get it to under 10 feet from edge to edge, and then you just close them up to 45 or to 90 degrees, when you need to store stuff. So yeah, so let's get the Simtor apart, and I will link this as well in the description of the video down below where to find this PDF. But yeah, so let's get in and get things built. So it's been a few days, and about 25 hours of work total. But I think it's worth it. Check this out. Now I did have to lower the resolution of the monitors. Unfortunately, 4K was impossible. I tried 4K with all the settings high, just for giggles to see what happened. I was getting 8 frames a second. So very impossible to do anything with. So back down to 2K, it still wasn't the best. Now, believe it or not, this is only 1080. Now, unfortunately, if you know anything about Toronto scenery, and of course this video is only going to be published in 1080. This is FS Sim Studios, Toronto Billy Bishop. So it's pretty nice looking. However, and I don't know if this is going to show up or not, but you can see the buildings of the skyline of Toronto. They're not the best looking, and that's not because we're only running 1080. That's because, well, the scenescape, unfortunately, in Toronto is just terrible. But yeah, for 3 screens running, like I said, they are running at 1080 now. I've left most of the graphics settings either at medium or some of them are high, and I don't know if we can get in close enough to see this. I did lower the trees back a little bit, and again, some of the trees are just terrible just because of the way, Microsoft displays trees in 2020. But yeah, right now I'm running about 45 frames is what it's telling me. So that's pretty acceptable, I think. It's 1080. Yeah, it's only 1080, but you know what? It looks excellent. Still having some issues just working with the zoom. And let me put the camera down about where I sit. So forward isn't bad. And as you can see here, we'll take a look at my G1000, my panel. And we'll come on up over into the panel, and you can see the G1000 in the aircraft is still a little bit too far to the right. So I'm gonna have to play with the positions on that a little more still. The A-pillar here should probably be over more in the gap. The other thing I have to get, and let's go around behind and I'll show you the monitor brackets. So as you can see, some of the stuff is not painted, some of it is. These were brackets. Like I said earlier in the video, the blueprints to build the structure was good. It wasn't perfect, and didn't realize I needed something there until after the fact. But the TV has got a 200 by 400 DIN mount, or Versa mount. And unfortunately, brackets I bought on Amazon, they are only 400 millimeters wide, so I'm maxed out. There's no room. I'm going to get a wider bracket, I think, and then that way I can slide the TVs left and right to get rid of this fill angle here. But the other thing is, and why I want the space to be able to move it, is to simply be able to fold them in and make up some space back here and around the whole sim when, you know, the sim's not actually in use. So these are out on a 60-degree angle to give us a 60-degree field of view per screen, so 180 degrees total. So that's the sim and triple screen. Now the screen down here, this is off my secondary, and it's an old HP. I actually bought it, and if you know anything about retail here in Canada, we used to have a store called Future Shop that closed probably 10 or 12 years ago. Best Buy kind of bought them out. But this was an on-display unit they had. They sold it for like, I think I paid like 99 bucks or something for it. It was just stuff they were getting rid of. But this is a full touchscreen. Like, everything we want, we can do here. It's all touchscreen, which is really, really nice. Of course, there's no keyboard there, so I do have a little, I could pull the touch keyboard up, but that takes too much space. I do just have a little, this is for a Raspberry Pi, little wireless keyboard that'll do what I need it to do when I need it. We can pull up our ground charts and everything here. And then zoom on that as well. But yeah, so that's what we're looking at. Like I said, I'm still working with the zoom to get that cleared up. I'm going to get those new mounts to get the TV so I can close that gap up and fix the bezel angle. And I'm still not 100% sure if the TVs are at the right height. They, I kind of look at them, my eyeball line is kind of about here, so it is just slightly below the midpoint of the screen. But, so yeah, maybe we need to lower the screens a little bit. But so far, looking really good. Made a flight last night into Edmonton with the Honda Jet. No issues whatsoever. What I do have to do, however, though, is move that light. That light is going to have to get moved over there. And that one is probably going to have to get moved that way as well, just because the lighting over the sim now is really bad. But yeah, that is a budget triple screen upgrade. Like I said, you know, under 400 bucks, right around 400 bucks for the screens. And the 4060 cards seem to be running it pretty good. So hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.